Today we're going to talk about everything you need to know about buzzbait modifications. Hey guys, my name is Lance, and today I want to talk to you about buzzbait modifications. Now, one of my first ever videos on YouTube was about buzzbait modifications. Really, quite frankly, one of the crappiest videos I've ever made. And funny thing is it has more views than any of my other videos. So I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check that out and have a good laugh about it. First off, let's get into what type of buzzbaits there are. There's your clacker style, your torpedo style. I believe that's made by Booyah. The clacker was made by Booyah. I don't have a skirt on this one. Your Corrado, which will help you slow the buzzbait down at times. I also have your buzz toad, which has your little buzz on it. Notice that one's kind of bent out a little bit. Oh, I need to turn it down some more. Little buzz toad. And then your more natural style. This one I believe is made by Strike King with the little bleeding tails on it. Anyhow, there are many different types of buzzbaits. Now, in my video I did before, I put this little bead here, tightened it up, and put this little paddle tail shad on here. Well, that's junk, and I'm going to show you an even better way to tighten up that blade. Another thing I did is I put this wire around here and told you that way you can connect to your buzzbait a lot better and hold your line up there tighter. Don't ever do that, because that will make you break off real easy. Another thing is I glued this paddle tail to this buzzbait, and I haven't really fished with it a lot. I need to try to throw it. Nothing really wrong with it, but it could be better. Notice this blade makes hardly any noise, and we're going to show you some modifications you can do to make that better. Now, what are the best times to throw a buzzbait? The best times, in my opinion, to throw a buzzbait is very early in the morning or very late in the evening on a good overcast day. Early mornings, late evenings, I like to throw a solid black or even a black and blue. Reason being is there's shadows. You cast it straight across parallel with the bank. There's shadows off the bank, and they can see it. All they do is react to it. Even in clear water, on a dark shadowed bank, you could throw a black and blue or black buzzbait and just be burning it across the bank, and you're going to get a reaction strike upon it a lot easier. So in my opinion, a really good overcast rainy day or early morning, late in the evenings are the best times to throw a buzzbait, and generally pretty much the only times I will throw them myself. Now, when I did that buzzbait modifications video, it was the very first video here on my YouTube channel. Like I said, I will leave a link in the description below. I pulled this heart tackle buzzbait out, and I put this little paddle tail on it. As you can tell on the camera, this buzzbait's been beat up a little bit. It's caught quite a few fish, actually, believe it or not. One little tip, I've got a brand new buzzbait still in the package here, made by Heart Tackle. I'm going to pull this buzzbait out here in a minute. I'm going to show you the difference between a brand new buzzbait out of the package and one that's been used and modified. So let's go ahead and pull this out. Brand new, straight out of the package, okay? What do we see here? That's actually not bad. They've upgraded that. Used to, that had a lot of slack in there, and you really want that tightened up. Problem is, this thing doesn't want to spin very well. It's not very free. So What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and set this in my vise, and I'm going to turn the fan on, and I'm going to run it for about an hour or so and let it sit there and burn and spin this blade. Alright, so one of the modifications you could do will help you prevent short strikes. You're throwing them out, you're sitting there buzzing along, cranking them along, they can come up, hit it, you yank your rod, and you miss them. And they're just short striking. What the bass will do is they'll come up and they'll bite. Well, what they're doing is they're getting a mouthful of blade instead of just biting down on the hook and being able to close their mouth. So in order to prevent that, what we want to do is prevent this extra play. I'm going to slide that all the way up. Then we're going to take that rivet and slide it up. Grab your pair of pliers. You're going to leave just a little bit of play so your blade can still turn, okay? So we'll cut right about there. So now you can see your rivet, your blade can come off. Then just take your pliers, hold that, and bend that. So now what's going to happen? You're running this along, that blade's running, churning water, bass comes up, boom. They have nothing but head and hook. You set that hook, you caught your bass. Now the other thing this does is this makes this rub metal to metal, and it's going to make it squeal more. The next best thing to this modification of that is going to make this right here on the rivet and on top of the wire rub, it causes it to squeal and make a little more noise. So what you want is, see how loose this blade is? You don't want that blade to be loose. You want that blade to be sucked all the way up here. You want this rivet to be right up here against this, holding that. Now what I do is I take my pliers, okay, and I cut about that much off right there, alright? So we cut that off, and then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to bend it. That's not perfect, but you get the gist of it. It's not perfect at all, but you get the gist of it. There's hardly any slide in there at all. Okay? A lot of guys say crimp that little rivet and it holds it. It doesn't hold it. It still will slide. I'm going to take my pliers and kind of bend that just a little more. Then I'm going to take my pliers and squeeze on that rivet just a little bit. See what I did? I don't know if you can see it or not. I've got that blade sucked up on there. Notice already how much more noise that makes. Just in that little bit of change. Alright, don't look at my mess, because I got a mess over here. What you want to do if you got a vise, it's so much easier. Just set it to where you know that vise is going to hold it, tighten it down where that blade will spin and not pass. Have your fan right here, turn your fan on, walk away. Alright, so you don't have to do it with a vise. You can clamp it on a clipboard, you can clamp it on your antenna. To me, doing it with a vise because I have it's much easier. Now this is one that I put together. I bought the parts from Lure Parts online. You can buy them yourself and make them. Notice the only thing I haven't done is I haven't snugged this up. So one more time, you really want that up there. I mean, look at the amount of difference you're going to make. I'm going to show you something. Anytime you have a painted blade, that paint comes around here and that paint is up here. So if you have a painted blade, get you a small file and etch those edges off. Etch around the edges of the blade. Anything that rubs, you want to file even and not have any paint, because that's going to allow it to squeal more. And that's why you want to etch those edges off. And get the paint off of there so it'll make a solid squealing noise. The more squeal that blade makes, in my opinion, the better. So I took my rivet off. Then I'm going to slide the blade out, okay? Now, this is a bigger file than you really need. It was just the fastest one I can grab. What you want to do right here on the front of this blade is just file it nice and smooth. I don't need to do this one because it didn't have any paint on it, but I'm just showing you so you'll get the idea. But basically, you want to file the flat surface of this off. You want to file your edges off. If it's painted all the way around, I'm not doing it majorly to this because this really isn't painted. You file all these, file your round ones, file your rounds till it's completely silver, because you don't want paint on the edges. It's going to make a little bit of flash on the, but it's also, because it has that chromish look, but on these flat surfaces right here, it's also going to allow it to make more noise. Now then, it's very simple. Take your blade, slide, run it through, okay? Take your rivet. This wire is not completely straight, so I had to shove that rivet up on there a little bit. Now what I'm going to do, now that I have the rivet and the blade on there, now what I'm going to do is right behind that rivet, I'm going to take and bend that thing down. And it can be a pain, don't get me wrong, but once you get that done, then I'm going to take my cutters right here, because I don't need all that length in there catching grass and snagging on crap. Let's cut that little piece off. Now, what have I done to that buzzbait a minute ago? I've made it more compact and it stays right there. I thought I had one, but I don't. They do make a buzzbait. I like a longer shank, as you notice, but they make a shorter shank buzzbait where the blade actually sits closer to the head. You can take it and bend it down to where it will sit there as it turns and catch the head and make more noise on the head. I don't know, I just like these longer shanked style ones better. I've just had better luck with them. One reason to me is these longer ones, and this may be a crazy theory, but where's your hook? Your hook's way back here. As you're trolling that thing to the water, this is burning, buzzing noise. Sometimes a fish will miss the front part of it, or they won't come out of where they're coming to ambush that lure. Where are they going to catch? They're going to catch the end of it instead of the front of it. So, I don't know, I just like the longer shank ones. I usually stick to 3/8 to a ½ ounce, and it's worked really well for me. Now this is one also that I bought from Lure Parts Online and never even put it on the thing. But what I did was I put one of your Zoom horny toads on it and lets it sit there and kicks that action, and it's really actually kind of been up a little bit. And this one also as well is just all been out of whack. So something very, very important, if you notice, hopefully you can see that in the camera, that thing is out of kilter. You want that hook and that blade right in line with each other. And this thing, I've caught so many fish on this thing, it's all bent up. As far as traders, man, there's hundreds of different types of trailers you could use. I like a crawl pattern or a toad style trailer on most of them, or you can use a paddle tail. Here's a perfect example. Here's this black booyah clacker style. I'm going to take this and flip it upside down right quick. All you want to do is take it right in the middle, just like if you were going to Texas rig something. Pull it up, and they will try to twist on you. Pull it around. It's about right there. Then I'm going to take it, if the skirt will get out of the way, that's why I keep it pinched usually. Bring it around. Sometimes I'll add a little dab of glue. I still do that sometimes. Holds it on there. Now this booyah buzzbait, the skirt hasn't been trimmed or anything. That's fresh, brand new out of the package. Hasn't even had a piece of line put on it yet. So you can see that keeps it a low slink profile. You can cast it out. It's going to come across the water. You're going to have your clacker turning, but you're also going to have these crawl legs, these appendages flapping, going back and forth, up and down as it's coming through the water, causing more commotion and cause more of a reaction. I have never put this one on the fan either. I don't fish this one a whole lot. So you notice I got a little Berkeley Havoc paddle tail trailer on there. This paddle tail trailer's in mimic shad. This is an old booyah clacker. I've got a natural forage baits 4.5 swim bait on there, and voila, sits there. What is it doing as it's coming through the water? This is making a clacking little clack, 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 and this is sitting here going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. What's it doing? It's making it look like a bait fish flying, running across the water. Anyhow, on to the last thing, and that's your skirtless buzzbait. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, why skirtless buzzbait? Well, I've been throwing them skirtless for quite some time. Heck, you can go back to my very first video on YouTube that's just the crappiest video in the world, and that was when I put this little paddle tail on here. I've been throwing them like that for quite some time, and they work truly well for me. Here's one that I put together from lure parts online, just the parts, and painted the head white. I need to clip this probably just a little closer. I haven't put it on the fan yet, so it's not going to make quite that much noise. What I want to do is take you a tail slapper, a Kitech, or any kind of paddle tail. All you're going to do is, just like you're feeding it through, feed it straight up, bring it around, like so. But what you want to do is feed that thing, if you can, all the way over the head of it. Now what does that do? That makes more of a lifelike, or a more realistic presentation in the water, and I think it works tremendously well. I've been throwing them for a couple of years now like this, and I've had really tremendous luck with them, and they work great. But anyhow, guys, I hope that helps you out. That is my buzzbait modifications. If you like this video, as always, please give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.